To our regular city council meeting on Monday, June 24th. And for those of you watching for public participation, there are 3 ways to submit public comment. Submit written comments by the meeting day, 2, submit written comments during the meeting, and 3, attend the meeting in person. To submit written comments by the meeting day, please email cityclerk@dalycity.org and include public comment in the subject line. All written comments received by 4 p.m. on the meeting day will be provided in the City Council prior to the meeting. Please note, any emailed comments received after 4 p.m. on the meeting date are not guaranteed to be received by the City Council prior to the meeting. Comments are not read aloud into the record. 2, during the meeting, you may visit www.dalycity.org/agendas to submit comments using the public comment form to address the City Council on a specific item or during the public comment period. And such comments are delivered to the City Council and staff during the meeting and may be read into the record at the time they are received. 3, to speak at the meeting in person, please complete a speaker card located at the entrance to the council chamber and submit it to a staff member as early in the meeting as possible. And now, may we all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay. Madam City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Present.
Dr. Rod,
Present.
Ms. Perano,
Present.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, present.
Ms. Manalo.
Present. Thank you very much. Moving on to our first item on the agenda, proclamation for Juneteenth, our national holiday. And may I read this? So, whereas Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the United States. And whereas on June 19, 1865, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with news that the Civil War had ended and that enslaved individuals were now free. And whereas Juneteenth celebrates the resilience, contributions, and cultural heritage of African Americans, honoring their journey from slavery to freedom and their ongoing pursuit of equality. And whereas Juneteenth serves as a reminder of the injustices of slavery and the importance of promoting social justice, equity, and opportunity for all. And whereas on June 17, 2021, President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, recognizing the historical significance of the Juneteenth National Independence Day to the United States. And whereas history should be regarded as a means for understanding the past and solving the challenges of the future. And whereas the celebration of the end of slavery is an important and enriching part of the history and heritage of the United States. And whereas on July 26, 2021, the City Council of the City of Daly City adopted Juneteenth National Independence Day as an observed holiday for the City of Daly City. Now, therefore, I, Jocelyn C. Manalo, Mayor and members of the City Council of the City of Daly City, hereby proclaim June 19th as Juneteenth National Independence Day, a day of reflection, remembrance, and celebration. Let us honor the sacrifices and achievements of generations past and commit ourselves to fostering a more just and inclusive society for future generations. Today, Accepting this evening's proclamation is Ken Holmes, Collection System Operator 2 with the Department of Water and Wastewater Resources. Ken has worked for the city for almost 10 years. He also coaches track and field at Jefferson High School, woo, my alma mater, I have to put in, where his children also graduated. Please come up.
Yay, Ken. Go, Joshua. Aw.
On behalf of, I would say just the city of, which is the biggest melting pot I've lived in a while, originally from the East Coast. Moved out here, got married, had two killer sons, and I've never left Daly City. I've been here almost 30 years now, so it looks like I'm pretty much locked in. But I appreciate this, and I thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Ken, for accepting this, not only as an employee, but as a resident here in our community and a volunteer that gives back to our youth. When President Biden enacted this Juneteenth Independence Day, in 2021, I was mayor, and right away, every jurisdiction actually has to codify this holiday into our municipal code. And right away, I introduced it to my fellow colleagues and also worked with our labor unions to ensure that this was indeed a holiday for our city workers in our community. Because being able to honor the history that has happened and provide that, to me, it was super significant and important that the city of Daly City is really respecting and honoring that Independence Day. And so I'm thankful that you were able to receive it today, and thank you for the work that you do. I know, now many have been educated about Juneteenth, but we need to continue to have continuous education and make sure that the next generation and generation afterwards understands this history and the preservation of that history and looking at such a significant historic moment in the United States of America. And so thank you so much. And I will now open it up to my colleagues, Vice Mayor Das Magboa.
Well, congratulations, Ken, for receiving the proclamation. I think when we talk about Juneteenth and we have these different holidays, it's really important to understand like our history of how far we've come, but also at the same time how much we need to go, right? Because there's still people that are still trying to survive, still fighting over oppression. And I think that's the reason why it's so important to have ethnic studies. And I'm just glad to be in a community where we have both Jefferson Elementary School District and Jefferson Unified High School District that has an ethnic studies curriculum where we could teach our students about knowledge of self at a young age. I would like to propose maybe next year, maybe a Juneteenth flag raising if we can. We did it for Filipino Independence Day. We do it for Pride. Maybe we could do it for Juneteenth. Maybe we could just put that in the mental Rolodex of the city.
Mental roll.
Do even people have Rolodexes anymore? I don't know. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, for that. I think I echo with you. I hear that. I know you're saying Rolodexes, but you're saying let's take note of that for next year and have a Juneteenth flag raising. And so I think that dates you now, but it's okay.
I know.
For those of you watching, a Rolodex is where you put your business cards, but it keeps note of things. But I appreciate you for your leadership and bringing that forth, Vice Mayor, and I'm in agreement with that. So, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, Ken, so we know that we need to do more education. I think that education is a big part of it. And a couple of cities in our county did do something, and I concur with our vice mayor over here. And I do think that we can use that opportunity to educate others as well. And what it truly means when they say about the emancipation and that, like when it took a long time after that. That was just the end of the Civil War, as we know. And, it's like on paper, and there was 250,000 slaves, and the things that we learn, of the facts that happened in Texas. But to solidify the end of slavery as we know it, because that's what I say, it's slavery as we know it. Because there's different types of ways that we all know that people stay enslaved, and that those barriers still need to be broken through. And along with the vice mayor, mayor, and council, I think we can use that opportunity with his Rolodex. And I know what one is, but and with all due respect, vice mayor, and maybe we can use that for education. And we know that I at a synagogue, Temple Emmanuel in New York, one of the great Black gospel singers got up and told the story of how gospel music came and how it came out of slavery and how it merged together. And I think that that is a big part of history, and those songs represent and where the songs came from, where the words came from. So I do think that maybe we could use part of the, with the music as well, because the words matter, and it needs to be an awareness, always an awareness. Because, we get caught up, there's so many things going on right now, and that we need to stop and say, hey, this really happened, and we want to make sure we prevent it. And like Dr. Ross says, there's studies now in schools, which I was blessed. I had studies in school and was able to get a lot more facts. But because of the TikTok and all these other things, I think we need to bring the young people in on it as well and educate them. And it wasn't that long ago when you hear the stories of things being burned in the front yard of Westlake area, where people couldn't buy the homes of redlining. It really wasn't that long ago. So we want to move forward, but yet we want to, I think I've heard you say this before, Dr. Rod, but we also want to acknowledge our past so that we can bring it in and not repeat. So I think that's a big part of it. So thank you, Ken. We all love you. We can't help it. You're Ken. Well, so anyway, so thank you for everything you do, and to your family. Blessings. You're a great mentor to so many young people I know that you've touched, and keep going. And this is your city, your home, and we are blessed to have you. And for you to receive this, it's really, truly an honor. So thank you very much, and we're going to move forward and expand it to educate others. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments from my colleagues? Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll keep this pretty brief and short. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge Ken. I've known him over the years, and what you do for the kids is a great example as to what you've done for your kids, and that is being a role model, not only for the kids, but people you work with, people who know you. And I've heard of Juneteenth before, but I've never taken or took the time to understand how was the name derived. And basically, it was the month of June, and it was June 19th. So you combine them both together, Juneteenth, which was 1865, where they created, where they come to recognize the Emancipation Proclamation. Basically, how I understand it, and if it wasn't for what we do in Daly City in celebrating all of our diverse cultures, the primary important thing that I see is awareness, not only of cultures, but of different aspects in our city, which this particular day definitely increases that awareness. So much appreciated. Congratulations. And I'll leave you with this. Juneteenth is a unifying holiday. And let that be for every other holiday that we have. It's the awareness. Thank you very much. My comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Praño, go ahead.
Very brief. First of all, it's nice to meet you. I met you today, and I love the idea that you were coaching. That's, and you're still doing it, aren't you?
Yes.
How many years?
A little over 21.
21 years. Thank you for doing that. And thank you. I don't think I can add much to what my colleagues have said. I will just remind people, and we know as Willie Mays just passed away, November 14th, 1957, in the Chronicle, it spoke about Willie Mays being denied housing in Westlake. So, you know, we see we've moved far. Let's move farther. Thank you for sharing your life with us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councilmember Praño. Moving on to item number 2. Okay, let me just make sure that I have, so I do have a Chester Chow for item number 1. Are you to speak on the proclamation? Yeah, this is for the proclamation. Yeah, please come up.
No, item number 1.
So my apologies. It's for the Samtrans route, the new route for.
Oh, okay. We'll call you later. Sorry, because it said item number 1, so which
I
is.
thought that meant one item.
Oh, it's okay. No, please welcome. We love public comment. I'm just making sure. So I'm guessing also the neighborhood concerns is for Samtrans and then the bus stop. Okay. Thank you very much. We're now moving on to item number 2, the approval of our special meeting minutes on June 3rd, 2024. I have approval of the minutes, or are there any changes to the minutes prior to approval?
Madam Mayor?
I do have change, please.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to make mention in the minutes, it's not moving here. When we, Vice Mayor made a motion, I seconded it, there was a vote after that, and it's missing in the minutes, so I'd like to ask that that be placed into the minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. And that is in item,
It's not moving.
let's see, I think that's on page 4, Madam City Clerk. It was moved by Vice Mayor Das Magwal, seconded by Councilmember Praño, and carried to adopt the following resolution as amended. I think Councilmember Praño is asking, in that moment, we did do a roll call vote, and for the roll call vote to be signaled right after that line. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and also for the record, I also would like to express that during that meeting, when we did do the vote, I did have some comments after we voted about being proud of like the Daly City community, being able to work together when we finally came to the resolution. And if you look back at the video, you'll be able to find that. It's not notated here, and like that for the record as well. I will say that, you know, we had 3 months of meetings, and at the very end, I saw a community together all stand up, actually, whether it was from the Palestinian community and the Jewish community. Everyone stood up at that time, and I know that we came to a common place. And so I saw what Daly City as a community could do together. And so thank you very much if you could kindly put that in the minutes. Thank you.
Through the chair. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make sure that that I recused myself for the minutes because I was absent with bronchial pneumonia for the meeting. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any other comments or changes on the minutes?
If I may, Madam Mayor, With the requested changes to be made as stated, I hereby move to approve the minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a motion to approve the minutes. I will second that. And then I think we will just go through a roll call vote. Thank you.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
I was absent, so I've recused myself from the minutes due
Dr.
to
Rod,
illness. Yes, thank you.
Yes, aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much. Now moving on to our public appearances and oral communications. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. And at this time, are there any public comments that are not on the agenda? Oh, okay. Oh, before we go into public oral communication, I move to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Now moving on to public appearances and oral communications. Seeing none, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda. In the consent agenda, looking at these items, I'd like to pull item number 9,
Yeah. Thank you.
and I'd also like to pull, there's just 2 items I'd like to pull. It's item number 9, and then also item number 5. Can someone please give me the public comment? Thank you very much. And item number 5. So I'd like to pull item number 5 and item number 9. But prior to this, I think there is a public comment that came in. It says item number 1. Stop. I don't have it.
No, it's okay. If you want to just call them, it's okay.
Okay. You could just fill out a card and then come up. You could come up and fill out the card after.
Yeah, I gave it to him. I don't know what happened to it. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I wanted to thank this council for passing a ceasefire resolution at the last council meeting. Thank you for taking a stand for humanity and against genocide. Thank you for showing your Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim community that you value their lives, that you actually see us and are not afraid to use your voice when injustice is taking place. Thank you. Although this resolution was passed, I do want to raise an issue to the council's attention. Bless you. Sorry. I was highly uncomfortable by Councilmember Glenn Sylvester's comments at the last council meeting. He promoted stereotypes and exhibited clear prejudice against my community. Although he did vote yes on the resolution, his reasoning for voting yes had nothing to do with the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and clearly was a political move. Sorry, I'm really upset. Councilmember Sylvester, my community and I were harmed by your behavior and your Islamophobic, racist comments, and I'm requesting an apology. I also do not think it's disrespectful to hold my elected officials accountable for harm they commit in our community. If you are elected to this role, you are elected to serve every one of your constituents, not just a particular class of people. I am echoing my former request to have this council go through a cultural competency course since it is clearly needed. And also, since we are talking about Juneteenth, I do want to bring up Roger Allen, justice for Roger Allen. He was murdered by the Daly City Police Department on April 7th, 2021. I think especially with acknowledging Juneteenth and acknowledging the ways that slavery has transformed in our society today, what happened to Roger was clearly systemic racism and modern day slavery. Thank you.
Any more public comment? Okay. Thank you very much. Now moving on to our consent agenda. So we're moving on to our consent agenda. With those items, I'd like to pull item number 5 and item number
That's okay.
I have you tonight.
It's after the,
Oh, and I'm, okay, I don't know what sign language is happening, but I'm just saying the items I'm gonna pull, and then we'll move on to other colleagues. Thank you very much. So earlier, it was item number 5, and then I was also gonna pull item number 9. So item number 5 and 9, are there any other items from my colleagues that would like to be pulled?
through the chair, through the mayor.
Yeah.
I would like to pull, thank you for pulling number 9, 10 and 11. Thank you very much.
Okay, so in addition, 10 and 11, and are there any other from my colleagues, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Sylvester, Councilmember Brent? Okay, thank you very much.
Madam
I,
Mayor,
go ahead.
we ready? Did we canvass most of council?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would like to do, with the exception of items 5, 9, and 11, I move to.
10 and 11.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Councilmember.
5, 9, 10, and 11, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, and I second that. And so with those items, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item number 5, accept and appropriate a $620 grant from the United States Department of Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program. Welcome, Director Chu.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. This item, number 5, is the acceptance and appropriate $146,620. It's grant funding from the Department of Energy, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program, or better known as EECBG. This program is designed to assist state, local government, and tribes in implementing strategies to reduce energy use, to reduce fossil fuel emissions, and to improve energy efficiency. Daly City Public Works applied for and was awarded the $146,620 through the EECBG program. The grant is for the purchase of electric vehicles as well as an electric lawnmower for the city. Staff is requesting that the City Council accept this grant from the United States Department of Energy, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program and appropriate the $146,620 to the Motor Vehicle Fund for purchase of electric vehicles and 1 electric lawnmower. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Director Chu. I wanted to pull this item because I thought it was so important, especially around energy efficiency and conservation and really around combating kind of the climate change that we have seen throughout the years. And also want to commend the staff because when I went to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, there were a lot of grants that the federal government had for us to apply towards. And I'm really grateful to see that that staff has taken the opportunity to look at those grants federally in order to help our community. So it was really not a question, but really to say thank you for taking that initiative. You know, when we do go to these conferences, whether it's state conferences or federal conferences, we're able to learn directly from the federal government around specifically what grants are there, whether it's for conservation, whether it's for our projects like the Vista Grande. I mean, there's so many aspects. Because, you know, we're a city that's a mid-sized city, but any grants that we get on the federal or state level greatly helps our community. And so I'm really glad to see we got $146,000, a little over $146,000. So thank you for that. Any Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I thank Mr. Chu and the staff for moving towards this direction and using these funds for, you know, having the foresight of transitioning away from fossil fuel. And as a member of the Peninsula Clean Energy, I think this is just another small step to a larger goal towards like a carbon-free, you know, a future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Any other comments from my colleagues? Seeing none,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Seeing that, I move to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, and may we have roll call, please?
Ms. Di Giovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much. Now looking at the items, I'd like to actually go back to public comment. Seeing that there's no items in regards to a bus stop or Samtrans on our consent agenda, I will allow our public to come up and speak for 2 minutes. In regards to the bus stop that was mentioned, the first speaker I'm calling up is Mr. Mayo Thiag.
Should we finish this?
Please, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and everyone. Good evening. I'm here to share my concern about the proposed new Samtrans route through our street. Our house is on Lincoln Avenue and Edgemont Street corner, and which is right in front of the 2 schools. And during the school discharge time, this street is really, really crowded, and the streets are double parked, triple parked. To add the bus through that block is going to be really, really dangerous. And also, they are proposing the bus stop right in front of our house and wipe away all the parking spaces. We have 2 partially disabled person living in the house. That is going to be really, really inconvenient. And the house is on a block. The driveway is so short, we can't even drive on the driveway. We can't even park on the driveway. So this is going to be really inconvenient. And plus, people waiting in front of the house for bus. We don't know who is who. And it's going to be another security concern. So I'm requesting the city to please look into this issue and please have Samtrans reconsider this proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now calling up Mel Liu.
Good evening, Mayor Manolo, Vice Mayor, council members, and city officials. My name is Mel Liu, and I live on Lincoln Avenue across from Fernando Rivera Intermediate School. I and many of my neighbors on Lincoln Avenue, Edgemont, and Highgate Streets are opposed to the proposed 2 new Samtrans bus stops on Lincoln Avenue and Edgemont Streets. Those bus stops would be additions to the Samtrans route. Route 120. My wife and I have great concern about the placement of those 2 bus stops. During school days, we've observed parents drop their children off at the white zones across the street from 100 Lincoln Avenue and 130 Lincoln Avenue. They were also picked up after school in the white zones. Unfortunately, parents double park on both sides of the street while dropping off or waiting to pick up their children. There's only room enough for 1 bus or 1 car to pass through when there's double parking both sides. This poses a very dangerous situation when children jaywalk to be dropped off or to be picked up. Parents even walk to pick up their elementary school children from Thomas Edison School next to Fernando Rivera for fear that their children may not be safe walking across the street by themselves. This street is very congested at the beginning and the end of the school day. My neighbors and I want to see that potential accidents are avoided. I'm a lifelong career teacher myself, and I know kids really well. Few cars make complete stops at the stop signs on the corner of Huntington going towards Lincoln, and few cars stop at the stop sign on Edgemont towards Lincoln. Our neighborhood residents are concerned about the safety of our kids. School children are not always aware of the potential dangers of street traffic. Residents on Lincoln Avenue, Edgemont, and Highgate appeal to you as our city leaders to help us resolve the placement of the 2 new bus stops. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank
Just
you.
made it.
Right on the time. And may we have Chester Chow?
Mayor, I guess just talk here first. Hi, Mayor Manalo and Dr. Rod and council members. I'm not going to repeat everything my fellow residents already said. What I will share is my name is Chester Chow. I live at the corner of Edgemont and Lincoln. I've lived there since 2005. In the last 10, 15 years, my house has been broken into. My car has been hidden twice in front of my house, parked, not moving. My car has been stolen once. My car has been broken into 3 times. I've seen 2 kids get hit in that intersection that they just mentioned. Adding a bus stop is just, not just a bus stop, just having a bus go through that area is going to be horrible. We live right across the street from the fire department. The fire department has to get out, and they already mentioned about how all the cars are double parked there. They're stopping. If you don't believe me, just come on any school day, morning, afternoon, once school starts up. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now you're going to have emergency or fire trucks try and get out that driveway, and there's gonna be cars stuck there. Cars already zoom past around other cars double parked. That's how my car got hit twice while I was parked. One time I wasn't even at home. I have 2 kids of my own, one going to Fernando, one going to Westmore. They don't even understand why we have to have a bus stop and a bus line coming down when they themselves at that age walks to a bus stop at Southgate, which is only 2 or 3 blocks away. I know it's for the Jefferson High School District. None of us wanted the district there. None of us wanted the adult school there. We lost that battle when we voted, but I just want you guys to consider this, and along with 20 seconds left, along with just the bus stop, having that right in front of my house is just gonna bring just more violence, more garbage. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is go to the corner of Southgate and Westmore. You can see what happens when that bus stops. So I'm just pleading with you guys that you guys consider the bus stop. I also have 5 seconds. I have a petition signed from most of our neighbors on that route, and I have additional letter or just other points that I can cover. If you guys want it, I'm glad
Sure.
to leave it. If not,
Yeah, please leave it, give it to the city clerk, and then if you can please give us a copy of it. And
it's a copy for you.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I think that's it for public comment. Thank you all for being here. Now moving on to item number 9. Thank you very much. So just for those that are in the audience, items not on the agenda, we can't as a body respond to the items just so you understand the process of how it works. But we're here to listen to your concerns, and currently, since it's not on the agenda, we can't necessarily address those comments that are not on the agenda item. Just so you understand. Thank you. Now moving on to item number 9, final acceptance of the subdivision improvements for the major subdivision sub 05-19-14055 Midway Bayshore Phase 1.
Thank you.
Director Chu, this is usually it's someone from ECD.
Well, this is because it's the subdivision improvement.
Okay.
So that's why it's. So good evening again. So a little bit of background. On June 8th, 2020, the City Council approved the master plan for the Midway Village Housing Complex and Dave Rowe Park redevelopment. Basically, it's a mixed-use development that consists of 555 affordable housing units. On June 14th, 2021, the City Council approved the subdivision improvement agreement and parcel map for major subdivision SUB 05-19-14055. That is the Midway Bayshore Phase 1 project. That project included 147 affordable rental apartments on the existing former Dave Rowe Park location. The subdivision improvements consisted of streets improvements, sidewalk, grading, drainage, water, sanitary sewer facilities, lighting, landscaping, utilities, and joint trench. The total value of the subdivision improvements is over $4.5 million. The developer has completed the construction of the improvements in accordance with the subdivision improvement agreement, the plans and specifications, and to the satisfaction of the city engineer. The developer posted a bond for that full amount, $4,502,043.75. That bond is ready to be released at this moment due to the completion of all the subdivision improvements. We will be requiring a warranty security deposit in the amount of $450,204.38. So in summary, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution to accept the completion of the subdivision improvements for major subdivision SUB 05-19-14055. That's the Midway Bayshore Phase 1 project. And then authorize the release of the security deposits in accordance with the subdivision improvement agreement.
Thank you so much, Director Chu, for your presentation. I pulled this item because this is such a huge milestone. For those of you in the audience or those who are watching, this is actually a huge project which will entail 555 units of affordable housing for the community in Daly City, most especially in the Bayshore. And seeing that we are at the final acceptance of the subdivision improvements for Phase 1 is a huge milestone. We need more affordable housing opportunities in our communities, most especially for our community members to remain in Daly City. And this is one of the strategies that we've been able to support and approve. And I think even to this date, the 555 units of affordable family units is the largest in San Mateo County. And so here in Daly City, we can definitely say that we support building affordable housing. And I wanted to pull this item because this is such an important milestone in our community, in the Bayshore community, with the new 145 units, as well as in the future being able to renovate a large park there, and then also included in that development will be affordable childcare. So if we talk about a holistic development in order to meet our community needs, this is something that is very much needed in the Bayshore community, as well as the city of Daly City as a whole. So thank you for providing in that presentation. I really wanted to let our community members hear and know what's happening and where we're at with the project. So thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, I just have one.
Council member.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chu. It's always great to see you. Thank you for all the hard work. So when they get to the remediation part, that's not us. That's just up to the developer and the method that they chose for the remediation of the soil for the different phases?
Yes, that's correct. That responsibility has been
Right.
transferred over.
Yeah, because I know that obviously Public Works, we don't do that. So they've already picked which type of remediation and the developer, and at what phase will that come
That's
for
in
the
one of-
toxic soil?
Yeah, I think that's in some of the subsequent phases of the residential development, so maybe.
As
the-
a,
Correct, in terms of before they can build on that particular location, they would need to get clearance and then start on that. But this is the first phase
True.
where the park used to be.
yeah, thank you very much. So that, so our new council member, Perano, know that there was a toxic substance and you know that the remediation, they had to pick it for the next phases. And I think that we do still have things online if you would like to go back and read it. So, yeah, so they pick it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Vice Mayor. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on to item number 10, adopt fiscal year 2025 GAN appropriation limitation. Hello, Director Nevin. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Dr. Vice Mayor, and council members. Item number 10 is adoption of an appropriations limitation for fiscal year 2025. As required by Article 13B of the state constitution, the city must adopt an appropriations limit for the following fiscal year. By resolution of June 3rd, 2024, council established its intent to adopt the appropriations limitation for fiscal year 2025. The attached calculations establishing the proceeds of taxes and appropriations limit for fiscal year 2025 have been online at www.dalycity.org and on file in the Finance Department since Friday, June 7th, 2024 for public inspection. Staff recommends that the council adopt a resolution establishing the city's appropriations limitation for fiscal year 2025, and staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the mayor or council members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Nevin, on this item. Are there questions? I think this item was pulled by Councilmember DiGiovanni. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. No, the other thing was that we already knew that currently, I think the city manager, when we did even a 3% cut, we're just going to keep that, to keep it all level all the way through. And just to let people know that it doesn't have anything to do to affect with their employees. It's just like with paper or supplies or things like that. So the people at home know that there's been a lot of work done in this budget. And I appreciate all the work that's done. And when I fared through the other cities, I think you guys did a job well done, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or for my comments regarding the item that we just talked about, item number 10? Specifically on item number 10, if there's any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you very much. Moving to approve this item, adopt fiscal year 2025 GAN appropriation limitation. And so do I have a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, I have a first, and do I have a second?
Second?
You have a second? All right. May we have roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 11, adoption of the comprehensive operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2025. And yet again, Director Nevin, thank you very much with your staff here. You have the floor.
Thank you. Item number 11 is adoption of the comprehensive operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2025. The budget presented for your consideration and adoption was shown to council during the June 3rd, 2024 council meeting. The Finance Department, in conjunction with each of the city departments, developed the fiscal year 2025 proposed operating budget by carefully reviewing revenues and expenditures in previous and the most recent fiscal year to forecast the needs for fiscal year 2025. Additionally, the city held 3 budget study sessions on March 2nd, May 1st, and June 3rd. With the recommended adoption of the fiscal year 2025 operating budget, the general fund reserve level would remain above the preferred reserve level of 3 months set by the city council. Staff recommends that the city council adopt budgets for all the city funds, including the general fund, the enterprise funds, and all other non-general funds. First, the overall operating budget for general fund revenues for fiscal year 2025 is recommended to be $119.8 million. The overall operating budget for general fund expenditures is recommended to be $122.8 million, with an additional $2.645 million budgeted for capital improvement project contributions, for a total general fund expenditure budget of $125.5 million. This equates to a budgeted general fund deficit of just over $5.7 million. During the fiscal year 2025 budget process, staff identified positional changes that were needed to better align to department needs. As part of the budget recommendations, staff recommended amending the following budgeted positions. This would result in 0 net new positions. Reclassify 1 lead public works maintenance worker in parks with public works field supervisor and maintain at range U053 of the miscellaneous salary schedule. Reclassify 1 lead public works maintenance worker in building with public works field supervisor and maintain at range U053 of the miscellaneous salary schedule. Add 1 assistant director of public works and assign to range M359 of the executive management salary schedule. Reclassify 1 plant and equipment maintenance manager with water and wastewater maintenance manager and assign to range U112 of the miscellaneous salary schedule. Eliminate 1 distribution system manager position. Additionally, which will be brought to City Council at the next meeting with other positions, add 1 assistant to the Director of Water and Wastewater Resources to underfill the assistant director position, which would result in a salary savings. The detail of recommended capital improvement budget for fiscal year 2025 can be found in attachment B. And if I didn't mention, I apologize. The attachment A has the detail for the operating budget as well. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the comprehensive operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2025, and staff is available to provide any additional information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the staff that has been working continuously on this budget process. You mentioned the consecutive meetings that we all have been attending and also providing input from my colleagues to get to this place right now. I do want to acknowledge that throughout this year, we have had some really important decisions that were made around supporting our workforce. And so I want to say that we've been able to approve, really important contracts with our fire, with our police, with AFSCME, the Teamsters, the engineers, but really folded into what we have as far as the operating budget is really the workers that are at the forefront of our community. And without the workers, we wouldn't have the city of Daly City that we have today. And so I want to say that, as we look at our budget, yes, it talks about a lot of our programs. But behind the programs are really the workers that drive making sure when we talk about just months ago around Public Works Week, when we talk about, my goodness, our firefighters who just recently, there was a horrific fire. And to those that are here today, our Daly City finest, right? Our Daly City Police Department that is here, everyone all together with Waste and Water. When we look at this budget, when I see it, it also reflects the workers that do so much, as well as the programs that we've been able to institute. For those of you watching, we did something in 2020 that was long overdue, which was Measure Q, to make sure that we were up to par with our other neighboring cities, but we were behind. And because of the voters, each and every one of you saw the need to make sure that we had our emergency personnel as well as vital services. We were able to increase senior services and programs, as well as reinstate Engine 95 with its personnel. And so these are really how we work together as a community. Not only all of us here on this dais, it's with the staff, but it's also with the residents that see how we all work together. So when I look at this budget that you have here in its final approval form, I look at it where, we're looking at ensuring that we meet our residents' needs and be able to also advance some of those. Because getting an engine back is not easy, and we did that, and we were able to reinstate it in 2021. But now we're looking at an opportunity from what we had did prior. We're looking at our budget and, seeing what we did in 2020 and seeing it now. It has helped our general budget. And so we really need to think about how we all have worked together, to push for this. And now we're seeing the fruits of that labor. And we just will be continuously looking at our budget, making sure, we don't have a large biotech community. We don't have that type of revenue generating, but we do have our ceremony, our Westlake, all these retail spaces, as well as our restaurants that are so crucial in our community. And those of you watching, our car sales. Actually, those are like really the main three around how we get our revenue besides our property tax, right? And so thank you for this comprehensive budget. I see, for those of you also watching, we ended up with, our last budget balancing. And so that's a huge thing. I'll say this, I've had other cities ask me, oh my gosh, how did your budget go? And neighboring cities that were like, oh, that's great that you were able to balance it. So we can't do this work alone. Us here on the council, it's really with the staff. And so hearing that type of rapport from our other neighbors, seeing how we're able to balance our budget and also hopefully continue to ensure that we meet our community's needs. And so with that, I just want to acknowledge everyone that has been able to, put their hard work into this. Thank you. So, Vice Mayor? Okay.
No comment.
Okay. Councilmember Giovanni?
Just quick, echoes the same thing that, it's a reflection of thinking ahead, like with things we don't plan for like the COVID and things like that, but coming over that and getting a hold of everything and knowing that actually, to me, the budget looks really great compared to the COVID was just seems like yesterday, right? So a lot of people are still in recovery of as the mayor mentioned, in other cities. And I have to say, it took a lot of work and then really understanding. I really appreciate that how you guys broke it down, restricted funds. As I told you, I listened. Unrestricted funds, what we use it for, how we take the general fund, how we make sure the balances and we make sure that the pensions are paid and that we make sure that the workforce, that the money is still there to, as you said, the money's there for hiring. It's already there. It's just getting the workforce going so we can have a full store. But our police department, they're able to hire and which is great. Because things are changing, even in that realm, in our public safety and in what is happening in our city. And I have to say, hats off, like the mayor said, to our staff. Our workers are doing more, and you guys are really stretched. And I know there was a 3% cut in the departments, but you guys adjusted and came back strong, believing in what we're going to do. We're going to get out of this, and to leave with a balanced thing. To me, that's pretty impressive, and thank you as well, because I know what it takes, and to our city manager, the multiple meetings, I'm sure, with the department heads. But when you got a ship, you have to make sure that it doesn't sink. So, and we know if you're headed for a brick wall, that, you have to prepare for that. And I have to say that not including the VLF was really smart, because I saw where some cities included that in their budgets, and that reflected a bigger deficit. So thank you very much, and thank you to all the workers who are out there doing all the hard work, and to the department heads. And everybody be safe, and thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from my colleagues? Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off by saying a confused mind will always say no. And after listening to many, many budget presentations, when the budget analysis comes in, and I try to be prepared because all I hear is doom and gloom. But Mr. Nevin, you and your staff has done a tremendous job, completely transparent. You've addressed all the questions and made it much easier to understand. You are the expert, but if you don't ask the question, the right question especially, you won't get the correct answer. Attachment number B, second page. Who gets to see that?
Attachment B, second page, you're talking about the capital detail?
Second page.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one. Who gets to see that if we approve this?
This has been, well, the attachment as well as everything else has been made public.
Okay,
It'll also be, once the budget is adopted.
Okay.
We have 2 budget books that we create.
Okay.
And those are also available online.
Great.
We'll have a full operating budget book. And we
Okay.
have a separate capital improvement program book that will be in PDF form online and available.
all right, great. I would be remiss if I didn't say that if you would kindly make the spelling corrections on page 2 to the last column, sanitation.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from my colleagues?
Just thank you very much. I know how much effort you put into this, and I do also appreciate it, pardon me, when I got to sit down and listen and try to understand how this worked, and you made it easy, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, council members. And with that, I happily move to approve this item regarding our operating and capital budget. Do I have a second?
Second?
And may we have roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much. Moving on to resolutions, item number 18, approval of the utility rate assistance program. And you don't have to move. Director Tim Nevin.
Thank you very much. So item number 18, staff recommends that the city council approve the expansion of the water rate assistance program into a utility rate assistance program, URAP, to include financial assistance for water, sewer, and solid waste garbage services effective July 1st, 2024. The utility rate assistance program, due to rising costs of living in the COVID pandemic, they have made it difficult for some residents to afford their utility bills. The proposed utility rate assistance program seeks to provide households financial relief, ensure equitable access to essential water, sewer, and solid waste services, as well as promote sustainable utility usage among vulnerable populations. The pilot water rate assistance program was implemented in August of 2023, and that has been effective. It has assisted 83 households and saved just over $1,200 on water bills. Qualified applicants receive a lower rate on their water bill that equals the July 1st rate increase approved by council. For example, if the eligible low-income customer has an average water bill of 12 units, they receive a rate that is the difference between the new rate and the previous rate. So for example, July 1st, 2023, the rate for those 12 units of water on a bi-monthly bill would be $141.82. If the increase that were to take place on July 1st, 24 were to go into effect for those customers, that would increase to $147.53. However, what they will be billed would be basically the old rate. So any increases in utility costs would be delayed. They would have a $5.70 lower bill for each bi-monthly bill in the water rate assistance program. And that program, again, was a pilot started last year by council. When the pilot was adopted, all council members made comments, and especially The mayor and Councilmember Sylvester talked specifically about wanting this program, and what we're looking at this evening is extending it to sewer and solid waste or garbage customers. Just to note that the Department of Water and Wastewater Resources continually looks for programs, federal programs, state programs, to assist our customers. We saw a great need of this, especially during the pandemic. And I just wanted to give it to you and update you within one slide, just some of the programs that the city has taken advantage of in the last couple of years. There was a Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program, or LEWAP. That was a federally funded program, and it gave assistance to low-income households to pay residential water bills. It ran from June 2022 to March 2024. 195 water customers were assisted for a total of $166,267. The state of California had a water arrearage program that the city applied for and received funding. There were two programs. The initial program ran from March of 2020 to June of 2021. We assisted 1,008 water customers in that initial program for over $428,000. And the state thankfully extended the program from June of 2021 until December of 2022. And recently we received another $418,000 to the city to assist 571 water customers. So those are programs that we actively look for, and the Department of Water and Wastewater applies for those programs. So any future programs come up, we will apply for and try to take advantage of those programs. But in addition to that, for what we can do locally is extend the pilot water rate assistance program into a full utility rate program. So the criteria based would be fairly simple. So if approved by council this evening, the program would be first come, first served. It'd be based on a fiscal year, July through June. So it'd be immediately available and is currently immediately available. We'll just have customers reapply every fiscal year to be in the program and determine their eligibility. Applicants may apply at any time throughout the fiscal year, and once they apply, then their future bills will receive those lower amounts. Applications are approved contingent on availability of funds. We still have funds available from what council already approved, and once we reach or get close to reaching that limit, staff will come back to council and ask for an increase to those funds for this assistance program. Applicants must be current on their utility account and have no outstanding balance. We looked at those federal and state programs. Actually, customers that couldn't keep up with their bills were assisted in that program. For this assistance program, we're asking that the applicants be current on their bills. Applicants must reapply annually, as mentioned, or if they move to another address in Daly City, they must notify the city within 30 days if they become ineligible for the program, and assistance is not transferable with property or applicant. There's a chart at the bottom of this slide which shows the income limits. So we're looking at 50% of the median income in different family sizes from size 1 through size 8. And those are the criteria in terms of being eligible for the program. So there's no fiscal impact anticipated, as I mentioned, because there are funds available for when council first approved the water assistance program. And staff does recommend now that the city council adopt a resolution by roll call vote, the expansion of the current water rate assistance program into the utility rate assistance program to include financial assistance for water, sewer, and solid waste garbage services effective July 1st, 2024. And staff is available to provide any additional information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Nevin, on this item. I think first and foremost, I want to say thank you to City Manager Piccolotti, who I know during the time of the inception of the first program, the main concern was really families that were still adjusting after the pandemic. And, you know, given the fact that there were some families that are still in need or individuals. And with this pilot program that we've seen, it's really great to see the data points that are now in front of us. But I want to say thank you for listening to the concerns and also taking on something that when you hear from us as council members, you literally take it on and bring it to staff. But something like this, such as a utility rate program, just in general, I think is a safety net for those families. When we look at the area median income that you just put up there, I mean, I think we've talked about this in some of our committee meetings, whether it's water rate increases or, other committees that we're on, that $6 may seem minuscule, right? To some of us that are like, oh, it's only $6. But yet those $6 times how many months is still, food on the table for some families, especially with like multiple children that we see up there, or for seniors that are on a fixed income and no longer their income levels are escalating. And so I think it's wonderful that we've come to a point where we're looking at all utilities and really supporting our community members. And because of the fact that we did approve a budget that hasn't been exhausted, that there's no fiscal impact, but we're still able to reach those that are in most need, right? And so thank you so much for now looking at an opportunity to help families and individuals that really, really would, that every dollar counts, especially with the rise of inflation. I mean, I think we've seen it through just our daily products and how much even items that were less costly nowadays. And so I'm definitely in full support of this. I want to thank the staff, and that's why I wanted to acknowledge City Manager Piccolotti as well as you, Director Nevin, for hearing our concerns. I think that you took something that we definitely saw as an issue for some of our community members, but also brought it to where there is an expansion. When you talk about pilot programs, it's there so that we can see, okay, is there a need? And we did see it being utilized, and now how can we expand it to support exactly what we mentioned, those most of need. And so thank you so much for tracking the data and then also being able to implement that pilot program to where now we're able to expand it. And so, our Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tom, for making all this possible. I know we had a lot of community members that came out for the first round, which the mayor said, but I just want to echo everything what the mayor has expressed, that we actually have some programs and some funding that can ease some of the hit from these utility costs. Also, I just want to give kudos for the application form as well.
Yeah.
Usually when we look at application forms, they're so like inaccessible and dense, and I believe this application process is pretty straightforward. As a person that has to deal with contracts and inputting numbers for my own nonprofit, usually that's kind of like the deterrent from even doing things like that. I just have one quick question of like viability in terms of, instead of it being like a 1 year thing, is there opportunities to do it as a multi-year assistance program so that they don't have to come back every year? Because I feel like there is a captured audience. I might be wrong, but so that they don't have to keep on doing it annually.
We have discussed that, and actually, I've had discussions with Water and Wastewater Resources, and we're ready to just have the people in the program currently just move into next year's program. We're not going to make that difficult. So that is something that we've discussed, is how easy can we just, have that be a rollover type of situation. But for the other two programs, those would be brand new.
Got it. Okay.
But I apologize. So the people in the assistance program then, and new applicants would then be, would qualify for all three programs, all three utilities.
Excellent program. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other, Councilmember DiGiovanni?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to say, I was looking right at that form, saying how easy this is for people compared to things that are complicated. And it's very clear, so great form. And I know we already do that. So obviously, we have our forms in different languages for like Chinese and Spanish and Tagalog. Right? I knew you did, but I just want to let the people know that, wherever you're at and you feel more comfortable in your native language, just know that they're here to help you and that the form will be easier, because sometimes forms themselves, if they're not in your native language, then they're very complicated, and can be intimidating for people. So we just want to make sure we're culturally sensitive in our community. And if they don't have your language, they can make sure they get it, because we have like 72% foreign born in our community, and that these workers at the city really know about it, because actually they're reflective of the community as well, which I think is a beautiful thing. So here to help you, and thank you so much, and it's really a great form. Thank you so much.
Any other comments from my colleagues? Councilmember Sylvester?
Thank you, Mayor. I just took a look at your form, and I'm definitely impressed by the form because it's PDF fillable. Most forms, they just come up and you either have to print them and fill them out, but you can just do this and just fill in the boxes. It's outstanding. It was great to champion this. And the whole idea is, as council, we try to address all aspects of our community, the young, the growing family, and the seniors. And when this was championed, I was looking at our seniors. There's a term that they use, house rich, but cash poor. And I remember reading all the horror letters that used to come in and stating, especially in the use of water. And it's my understanding that Daly City has done a tremendous job in the conservation of water as well. So I think it's working both ways. I think the foresight at the beginning to have such a program may set an example for other cities to follow. And I commend you for your staff and your presentation of your stats and the update. It shows us it's working. And not only that, to make a suggestion to extend it to other areas, it's a great thing. So, great job. And I guess that answered my question about the seniors. And that question, because I made a note here to myself, how do we address the seniors who are on Social Security? But you did. And you do that based on income levels. So basically age, there's no age aspect to it at all. It's based on income. So I think it covers all bases. Job well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Perano.
So this is something I brought up with city manager. First of all, this is wonderful. A few of my neighbors had approached me and asked me, about something like this, and you adding other departments. And I did have an opportunity to speak to Bill Chang, our representative for PG&E. He indicated that PG&E has a CARE program, C-A-R-E, as well as a few other programs that I'm sorry I didn't bring with me, but I can pass it on to you. It was very informative, because if we could add that to the package, then we're covering a lot of our bases. The other thing is, and just something I asked is, because again, the neighbors granddaughter was asking for her grandparents and said, my grandparents, they need help, but they're not good on computer, but I am. So if we could talk about it, I did mention it to Tom, if we could place it on our website so that we have a space where we can tell people where to go and with links. And I did contact San Mateo County as well in David Canepa's office and asking him to perhaps send us links as well to anything the San Mateo gives to North County so that when people call, or we can tell our neighbors and we can say, look, if you go to the website of City of Daly City and you go to this spot, all that information is going to be there. It's just one stop. They won't have to make calls to different departments and ask different people. And perhaps we could also integrate anything we have with Denise Brown in that department, with Dolger, with seniors as well. Just because, one, the webmasters won't have to keep it up because they could just get links. So as long as the people we link to are up to date, I think it would be a great opportunity to just take it a couple steps. That's all. Thank you. I love it. It's great. Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. And I have some notes for my staff as well in utility billing that speak to customers every day, and we try to provide other types of programs. This evening I mentioned, federal and state programs, but there are also other local programs. Customers are referred to Daly City Partnership and other areas. I didn't mention PG&E specifically just because with the water program, we have, our federal and state partners, but it's a very good point, and we hope to provide assistance to people whenever they call. So I did mention utility billing staff, but if I could, I'd like to just also mention from Water and Wastewater Resources, a lot of this work is Anthony Tofiga, Senior Management Analyst in Water and Wastewater. So I just wanted to give him acknowledgement because he's doing a great job with our current program.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that presentation. Thank you to all the staff, City Manager. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be brief. We are currently filling the content on the links that Councilmember Proaño spoke about, and it'll also be in our newsprint as well. The initial pilot championed by Councilmember Sylvester and Mayor Manalo when we did the water rates, this was just when we did our committee meetings, we listened, we heard the mayor in our previous solid waste committee meeting in terms of the suggestion to expand it to other areas. So that's what staff is executing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for listening, and I think that this is something useful for our community. And with that, I move to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second?
May we have a roll call vote, please, on this?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Moving on to item number 19. Director Nevin, you are just staying put right there. Busy evening for you. Public hearing, notice on lien and special assessment to rental property. Director Nevin.
Thank you again. It is recommended that the City Council approve the notice of lien and special assessment to rental property for properties included in the attachment with the County of San Mateo for all unpaid business license rental property taxes and penalties. On June 25th, 2012, the City Council entered into an agreement with the County of San Mateo to impose liens assessments on real property for unpaid business license for rental properties. This agreement was approved by resolution number 12-99, and Daly City Municipal Code requires that all commercial and residential rental property pay a business license tax on the gross rental income collected. Notices were sent on May 14th, 2024 and June 4th, 2024 to the rental property owners in an effort to bring them into compliance. The past due taxes were due on October 1st, 2023, based on the actual gross rental income reported on 2022 federal income tax returns. Notices of intent to lien rental property were mailed to past due and unresponsive property owners included in the attachment. This notice provided the property owners the opportunity to clear the possible lien and validate the information provided by the County of San Mateo. All unpaid taxes will be assessed on the upcoming fiscal year 2025 property tax bill if they have not been paid to the City of Daly City by July 8th, 2024. In the current fiscal year, 2024, projected revenue collection of unpaid business license rental property tax from the County of San Mateo is approximately $151,654. Collection for fiscal year 2024 is determined based on rental property payment history and current market rental value. Staff recommends that the City Council conduct a public hearing and approve the notice of lien and special assessment to to rental property for properties listed in the attachment, and staff is available to provide any additional information. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this presentation, Director Nevin. At this point, are there any comments from my colleagues or questions? Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Nevin, how often are these business licenses due?
This is an annual item.
Annual. Thank you. And correct me if I'm wrong. There is no guarantee that if we approve this, that we will get the money. Is that correct?
These amounts will actually be sent to the county and actually placed on the property tax bills. So that is a very good way to collect money in terms of how much you will receive out of that. We expect to receive all money that's put on the property tax bills.
Okay, because I was under the impression that a lien goes against the property. And subsequently, if that property is ever sold, that's when we collect. But you're saying it wouldn't, well, it's attached to the property, but on the tax side. So when you have to pay your property tax, no darn fooling around. Due in November, delinquent in December, due in February, delinquent in April. They will have to pay it then. Is that correct? If we have the lien.
Right.
Great. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, no other questions from my colleagues, do I have a motion to approve this item?
Glenn Sylvester, motion to approve.
I have a first. Do I have a
Second.
second? Second by Councilmember Perano. May we have roll call, please?
Excuse me, so, Madam Chair, this is a public hearing if we, for formality, open and close public hearing.
Okay. Motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
Okay. At this point, the public hearing is open. Do we have any cards? Speaker cards? Seeing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Okay, thank you very much. And now may we have the motion to adopt a resolution?
So moved.
Okay, we have first, and then do I have a second?
Glenn Sylvester, second.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Sylvester. May we have roll call vote, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 20. All right, you can take a little break. Thank you very much. Director Chu, please come up for a public hearing for proposed turnkey design build energy services agreement with Cicerco Energy Solutions.
Yes, good evening. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Assistant to Public Works Director, Jeff Fernese, who will be doing the presentation for this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of Council. The item before you is a public hearing for a proposed turnkey design build energy service agreement with Cicerco Energy Solutions. Staff recommends that the City Council hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution awarding a design build contract to Cicerco Energy Solutions, Inc. for solar, HVAC, and LED lighting energy improvements at Fire Station 93. City Council at its meeting on June 3rd, 2024, set June 24th, 24, as the date for the public hearing regarding a turnkey design build energy service agreement. The notice of public hearing was published in the newspaper and posted at Bayshore Community Center and Bayshore Library next to Fire Station 93. In 2022, the city initiated discussions with Sysco Energy Solutions, an energy service company of Fremont, California, to provide comprehensive services for energy improvement projects. Staff leveraged best value contracting as permitted by California Government Code Section 4217, which states to help implement the policy set forth in Section 25008 of the Public Resources Code, and to extend that policy to facilities of local governments. Public agencies may develop energy conservation, cogeneration, and alternate energy supply sources at facilities of public agencies in accordance with this chapter. Aligned with Daly City's Climate Action Plan, the Daly City Green Vision, 10 for 20, the proposed scope of work will contribute to energy conservation efforts, thereby reducing energy consumption and our carbon footprint. Sysco Energy Solutions, Inc. Energy service proposal dated May 28, 2024 identifies the following as a combination of energy conservation measures, ECMs, as the scope of work for Fire Station 93. Furnace heat pump conversion and HVAC electrification, install energy generation capability by way of solar photovoltaic system, high efficiency LED lighting upgrade, and apparatus bay roof replacement. The primary objective is to implement the above ECMs, which will maximize site energy efficiency, generate operational savings, replace heating systems and roof that has reached the end of their useful life, and provide increased occupant comfort. Additionally, significant reduction in energy consumption will result from the installation of the rooftop solar photovoltaic system. Moreover, a significant benefit of opting for the Sysco proposal encompassing both design and construction phases, the city eliminates the need for overseeing a separate design consultant and the task of drafting documents for competitive bidding. Through the adoption of the best value contracting strategy, the project stands to achieve expedited completion and reduce staff hours compared to the conventional design bid build approach. The total estimated construction cost for the solar, HVAC, and LED lighting energy improvement project is $576,400. After project completion, the city will receive a tax credit in the amount of $85,276, bringing the estimated completion construction cost to $491,124. Installation of the solar voltaic system has a return on investment of approximately 14 years. Sufficient funding is available in the following accounts: Fire Station 93 HVAC system and energy upgrade project, and Fire Station 93 apparatus bay roof replacement. Funds from this account will be transferred into the Fire Station 93 HVAC account so that there's, for tracking purposes and paying invoices, there's one account. So summary and conclusion, staff recommends that the City Council hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution awarding a design build contract to Sysco Energy Solutions, Inc. for HVAC, solar, LED lighting energy improvements at Fire Station 93 in the amount of $576,400. Staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the mayor and City Council. And we also have Scott Meisen from Sysco Energy. He's the Vice President and General Manager if we need any assistance from him. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation in regards to this item. I know that this is a public hearing for this design build energy services agreement. In this proposal, were there any other firms that were, or how was this put out to bid?
We've had several energy companies reach out to us. There were other energy companies that did basically the same things, and they didn't identify Fire Station 93 as being a candidate for a project like this. As we talked to Sysco, they were able to look at it in more detail and come up with a project that really made sense and saved a lot of energy. And so that's how we found them.
Okay, so for clarification purposes, you mentioned that when you went out to bid, some of the companies didn't include Fire Station 93 in their proposal?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, this specific project did not go out for public bidding. We don't have a requirement to do that in the sense of using kind of the government code section that Jeff had mentioned regarding this being an energy improvement, energy efficiency type projects. And we do have the ability, because of that type of project, to go to specific companies without doing a public bid. And as Jeff mentioned, we have spoken to other companies similar to Sysco, but Sysco was the most detailed in terms of really looking into the specifics of this project and coming up with a good proposal for us.
Okay, thank you. I mean, as far as them being in the Bay Area, I think that's something that's great to see. As far as like, at least it's in the local Bay Area community in regards to this entity. And I guess the other question I have is, given that they're local here in our community, how are they going to work with like local engineers in the area? How do we know their work in that regard?
I think in terms of the engineers, the design, I think it's my understanding that they do that in-house with their own staff. And that's one of the reasons why they're able to do the project a lot quicker in regards to this being a design build type project as opposed to design and then bidding it and then building it. And again, the government code sections that was mentioned allows for that to occur.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you citing the government code that allows us to do this. My questions were just to understand if this organization works with local workers, given that they're in Fremont, and you're saying it's going to be in-house. And so I just wanted to know how Sysco works with local organizations such as unions, et cetera. I don't know if you have that type of detail, but that's just one question I have.
Thanks for your question. So yes, prior to Sysco providing the cost estimates, they had a job block with local contractors, union contractors, and they looked at the job, provide estimates, kind of like a call for bids, and then that's when they work with like getting us the estimate and the cost. So they do work with local union contractors.
Okay, wonderful. You answered my question directly. I appreciate it very much. Any other questions from my colleagues? Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you. No, the mayor answered mine as well. I think it was labor and making sure it's local hire so that we all know that when you hire labor union, they always make sure that everybody gets employed, the economics, it's a benefit to all of us here. So thank you for that. And union is Daly City. Thank you very much. Plus, it's our firefighters, they're union, and then we have to have union work on their project. So it all makes sense to me. So thank you. We have to support one another in that and making sure there's no wage theft or it's all good, all done on time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor, for asking.
Thank you. Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Fornese, for your presentation. I'm about to get very technical. So you may want to have the representative for Sysco to come up.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for having me here.
All right, the questions I'm about to ask you, don't feel that I'm against the project, but I want to receive clarification, especially on ROI. It was indicated 14 years potential return on investment. about 14 years.
Yeah.
My question is, how long is the warranty for the solar panels themselves?
Sure. So the panels that we're using for this are classified as Tier 1 rating, and those modules have a 25-year degradation warranty and a 30-year life cycle warranty. Of course, the racking that they'll be held on will last longer than probably anybody in this room. And then the inverters, those have a life cycle expectancy of about 15 years. Those will need to be scheduled for maintenance replacement in somewhere between year 13 and year 18.
Okay, thank you. So about 25 years. How old is the roof right now at 93?
The roof is 26 years old, and it's got a 50-year life.
Well, 26 years, it's almost getting to be that time, so all of them more reason. But we're not going to do the roof, right?
Yeah,
Well, I'm sorry.
Not on the portion where the solar is going.
Right.
That is a metal standing seam roof, and there's 24 years left on
Okay.
the life, the manufacturer's suggested lifespan.
All right. Do we consider in your estimates, your calculations on the ROI, did you look into the differences between NEMS 3.0 versus 2.0? Take that into consideration.
NEMS 2.0 is not available,
That's correct.
so we took NEMS 3.0.
And 3.0, okay, which leads me to the next question. Is it anticipated that the energy produced during days of sunlight would be equal or greater than the use of energy during those hours?
That's a good question. I can get that information.
Actually,
I have that information
Jeff,
available.
I'd be happy to take that if you like. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So under NEM 3.0, Councilmember Sylvester, you're right. As you astutely point out, the way that NEM 3.0 credits the tariff for overproduction is much lower than under NEM 2.0.
That's correct.
And so when we were in the design process, we were limited by the amount of roof space relative to the energy output, relative to the economics of any kind of storage apparatus. So we modeled the design of the size of the solar array to maximize the economic benefit for the city given the constraints of the roof size. So while on the very longest days of the year, there may be slight overproduction, the size of the system maximizes the city's return on investment under the NEM 3.0 rate tariff schedule.
That's a good answer,
Thank you, sir.
but you're the expert. So my next question is, would you consider deploying battery storage so that any excess energy can be used during non-sunlight?
So, Councilmember Sylvester, also in our design phase, we modeled the economic return of a battery system. And so we looked at the two benefits that a battery would provide. One is the backup use of energy in the event of a power outage. Now, the site already has an existing generator that turns on in the event of a power outage, so the benefit for the city of having any backup power is negligent. But when we put the factor of an additional battery into the cost of the project, looking at an estimated battery life cycle of 10 to 12 years,
Right.
it didn't add an economic benefit to the project, so it was decided to not have it just simply because it didn't financially benefit the city.
Ooh, not that I'm looking forward to a power outage, but on your generator, does that run on gas or diesel in the event of power outage?
Yeah, it's an existing generator that does run on a fossil fuel. I'm not sure if it's natural gas or diesel. I'm sorry, I don't know that answer. You might know.
Yeah, I can answer that. That it runs on diesel. It was just recently replaced. It's probably 2 years old. But we do have in the design of the electrical system the ability to add battery storage when it becomes more economical. So we went down that road and really wanted to try to put battery in this facility and basically make it off the grid.
Exactly.
But it just didn't iron out right now just because of the cost. But it's something we will continue to monitor and look at.
That's good. So it sounds like you want to have the infrastructure in the event if you do decide to go that route. Okay? Let me see, generator, roof, age. Have you considered working with PCE to see if they offer any programs or willing to assist? Because it's my understanding that they're working with some other buildings within our city, public buildings, to help offset the cost.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. As you know, we are currently working with PCE on various facilities throughout the city. This was not one that they have identified as part of the program that they've selected. And so as a result of that, then that's when, we also had the discussions with Cicerco regarding working this solar system out for this facility.
Thank you. You know, Mr. Fornese, you said something earlier, and you says probably not in our lifetime, but you have to have that forevision. One day I can conceivably see electric fire trucks as well. So and with the project that's supposedly coming at the Cow Palace, big storage, electric utility. So I just wanted to leave that option out there. I know backup storage can be expensive, and I thank you, sir, for your answer. It just didn't pencil out, but I know the tax credits are still there, and the cost of LFPs versus LIs can make the change, and they're coming down. So thank you so much, and thank you for answering my question.
Thank you for the opportunity to work for the city. We look forward to a great project. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for the clarification and for providing that information for us. We have Councilmember Praño.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to point out, and I'm trying to think, I don't think I heard it, but I thought, 2.1.1 site savings. I thought that was significant enough to point out that for Fire Station 93, let's see, it's on page 4, it indicates that electric cost savings in a year is $9,017, whereas the gas cost savings was $1,870, with then a savings of O&M savings, and I don't know what that is, but that was $42. So we're looking at an annual savings of almost $11,000, so $10,929. So right there, that's a really great savings. Everything adds up, so that's good. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, just to add too, that we're taking the heating system off of natural gas and it'll be electric, so there'll be a reduce in greenhouse gases.
Nice. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Thank you so much. Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you very much. So I just have a quick question. I know there's plans, so if we do this, and I thought that 93 was going to be probably built or rebuilt into a training facility. I think that was like it's part of the plans in the future for this. So if we do this now, is this adjustable for that?
Yes, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Is either going to be completely torn down, or it's going to be remodeled, or something?
Yes, the facility that you're talking about, that's Fire Station 94, the admin.
Oh, 94.
So this is a different fire station.
Oh, that's true. So we can't really remodel that one either.
Yeah,
93.
Correct. This one is in
Yeah.
in good
But we
shape.
may be able to use that at another, we have a lot of fire stations here, as you know. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Fornese.
Thank you so much for that clarification in regards to the fire station and also some of the technical questions here. I think hearing the overall intent of this is really to make sure that we save energy long-term and really build infrastructure for our firehouses to be equipped with really energy-saving capacities, which we know is so important for our community, for a long-term environment in regards to this. So thank you all for the hard work on this, the partnership with Cicerco, and also ensuring the due diligence to see that reaching out to our local workers and unions. And so with that, I see no other questions. In that regard, I move to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Oh, yeah, public comment.
Okay. Well, at this juncture, may I have a motion to open public hearing?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's open public hearing. Are there any public comments? Seeing no public comments, motion to close. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Now, moving on to approving this item, a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second.
May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Thank you so much.
Now moving on to, oh, look at here. We are at item number 22, Director Chu. Oh, item number 21, that's right. Item number 21, and then we have you on for item number 22. So public hearing notice of lien and special assessment to real property. Director Chu.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, this item is similar to the other one that you've heard, except this is for collection of sidewalk fees. I'd like to introduce Senior Management Analyst Sabeli Calles to do the presentation.
Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the City Council. The item that you have in front of you is a recommendation from staff that City Council approve the notice of lien and a special assessment to the real property for properties included in the attachment to the staff report with the County of San Mateo property tax roll for unpaid sidewalk repairs. This one, as Director Chu said, is very similar to the one that Director Nevin presented, but this one is related into unpaid sidewalk repairs from property owners. A little bit of a background, according to the Streets and Highways Code of the State of California, property owners are responsible for maintaining the sidewalks abutting their property in such a condition that sidewalks will not endanger persons or interfere with the public convenience. In addition to that, Daly City Municipal Code Section 12.16.030 states that the owner required by Section 12.16.020 to maintain and repair the sidewalk area shall owe a duty to members of the public to keep and maintain the sidewalk in a safe and non-dangerous condition. If the property owner does not perform the needed maintenance and repairs, then the city may complete the work and per Section 12.16.100 of the Daly City Municipal Code, place a lien on the property to recover the cost. Property owners listed on the attachment were notified of the needed repairs to the sidewalks that front their property. The repairs were to remove pedestrian tripping hazards. After receiving no response from the property owners, the city completed the repairs and invoices were sent to each property owner for reimbursement. Property owners have failed to submit payment. Notification letters informing them of the non-payment and intent to lien their property were mailed on June 4th, 2024. All unpaid fees will be assessed on the upcoming fiscal year 24-25 property tax bill if they have not been paid to the city of Daly City by July 8th, 2024. The total projected collection of funds expended by the city for sidewalk repairs is the responsibility of the property owners is approximately $12,000. Staff recommends that the City Council approve the notice of lien and a special assessment to real property for properties listed in the attachment. Staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the mayor or council members.
Thank you very much for that presentation, Ms. Calles. At this time, are there any comments or questions from my colleagues? Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you for your report, and I'm glad we're turning over these rocks and getting what the city needs. If I, if I can make a suggestion, can we check the spelling of the address? I don't recall we have a Washington Street in Daly City, so if we can correct,
Washington?
it's probably Washington, but it's showing on the report, the staff report, as Washing. So if we're going to approve it, I would like to make that correction. Okay? I have no further comments, and thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Sylvester. I'm sure staff will take note of that. At this time, I move to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. The public hearing is now open. Do we have any public comments for this item? Seeing none?
Motion to close.
Okay,
Second.
thank you very much. At this time, do we have a motion to approve public hearing notice of lien and special assessment to real property, item number 21?
So move.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Glenn Sylvester, second.
Okay, have a second. May we have roll call, please?
Ms. Di Giovanni?
Aye.
Dr. Rod?
Aye.
Ms. Perano?
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester?
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo?
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now moving on to item number 22, public hearing on National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Local Stormwater Program Regulatory Fee. And you have the floor, Director Chu.
All right, thank you. Again, I'd like to turn this over to Sibeli Calles to do the presentation.
Thank you, Director Chu. This item before you is a recommendation from staff that the City Council adopt a resolution maintaining the existing National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, also known as NPDES, regulatory fee to fund City of Daly City local program activities required under the state-mandated stormwater management plan, and authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with the County of San Mateo for the collection of the NPDES local stormwater program fee. The San Francisco Regional Water Quality Control Board, or also known as the Water Board, reissued a consolidated Bay Area Municipal Regional Stormwater Permit, MRP, in May of 2022. This is also known as MRP 3.0. The permit conditions mandate numerous and costly municipal stormwater management activities over the following 5 years. The City County Association of Government, or CCAG, continues to administer the general program components, while each municipality is responsible for performing specific program activities. The city established a stormwater fee in 1995, several years after the NPDES regulatory program was initially established in 1991, in order to finance the many new municipal activities required to comply with the program. As part of the city's budget, staff anticipated the continuation of the current regulatory fee enacted under Ordinance 1219 in 1995 to finance a portion of the locally specific program activities required under the condition of the MRP. Public Works staff estimates that the local stormwater activities cost for the fiscal year 2025 at $527,180. This amount is derived from total personnel, equipment rental, and inspection services as set in the attachment A to the staff report, or in the attachment to the staff report. The fees originally established are based on a nexus between parcel size and land use, and with a base factor assigned to the single-family duplex parcel, as it is the predominant land use in Daly City. In your staff report, you can see the breakdown for each, the breakdown for the different parcels. All categories of use are assigned a factor compared to the single-family duplex rate and take into account frontage length, impervious surface coverage, and vehicle trips to allocate cost proportionally. The fees to collected are estimated to generate about $470,000 in revenue towards program cost. Currently, local stormwater program activities costs exceed the revenue derived from the property assessment due to the cost allocation escalation over time, as well as the imposition of new activities since the fee was first established. With a future need to implement more green infrastructure type projects, an increase in the stormwater fee assessment will likely be required in the future. Public Works staff is recommending the readoption of the existing MPDS regulatory fee and for the county assessor to collect the fees on behalf of the city of Daly City on the property owner's tax bills. As I mentioned earlier, this is an annual fee that it gets added to the property taxes because of the strict requirements and the additional requirements that MRP 3.0 establishes. There might be a need in the near future to update the fee. Staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the mayor or the council members.
Thank you so much for that presentation in regards to this item. I do have a question, and you're saying the last time it was increased as far as the fees were 28 years ago, and right now they remain at the the current state that you've mentioned here. And so in that regard, is your request just to keep it at the same level?
That is correct.
At the moment, in order to raise the fees, it would need to go before the voters.
Okay.
So for that reason, we're proposing to continue as is for the time being.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted to understand. I mean, if it was, I guess the question I have in compared to other jurisdictions, and I think this is just something to look at around our surrounding municipalities next to us. Like, when was the last time they've increased kind of this fee? Obviously, it goes to their voters. I just wanted to know if we have that data analysis, because 28 years is a long time. And if we have that, then please respond. If not, then it could be shared with us at a later time.
Yeah, I can provide some additional information. So not all agencies have a MPDS fee. Some do, some don't. I can tell you that several agencies, probably in the last several years, they have attempted to increase the fees. Most of those were unsuccessful when it went before the voters. With that being said, City of San Mateo recently did go before the voters, and they did get approval. San Mateo, the prior year, had a significant amount of storm damage as a result of the storms, and that probably made it a lot more understandable in terms of the reason for the rate increase that they were requesting. But again, prior to San Mateo's recent successful approval, many other agencies, including the county, had tried and had failed. So this would be something we would need to do extensive outreach, education prior to bringing it before the voters.
Thank you. Given the rates that we have at hand in regards to this, do you feel that it's adequate enough to do the work that you all have been doing with the current rate? I know it's obviously a nexus to the work that needs to be done. I just want to understand from all of you as staff what your assessment is.
Yes, the work is getting done and will get done. We have a requirement to comply in regards to the municipal regional permit. The result of the rates where they are currently is that we need to subsidize it with some other funds. Ideally, we are able to increase the fees in the near future so that we don't have to subsidize with like general fund, for example. But at the moment, that's what's happening.
Okay, thank you. That's good clarification to understand that we're offsetting some of the costs with our general fund in this regard. Do you know how much we're offsetting with our general fund?
Yes, as indicated, the estimated amount that we're going to be spending for 2025 is 527,000, and the estimated amount of revenue collection is 470,000. So 57,000 roughly in terms of the city subsidizing.
Okay. Well, I appreciate both of you with this presentation. That's all my questions I have. Are there any other questions for my colleagues? Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Chu, you answered that question. Basically, we are operating at a deficit, and we're pulling money from Fund 17 to help us offset this deficit to the amount of 60,534. How is Fund 17? How does Fund 17 get money? And how much do we have in Fund 17?
Yes, thank you for the question, Councilmember Sylvester. Fund 17 is primarily the fund that we use for our pavement type projects, pavement repair, a slurry seal. The funding sources for Fund 17 are various funding sources. So, for example, Measure A, the gas tax type sources, and then also some general fund as well. So SB1, for example, Measure A, Measure W, those are the primary sources that fund Fund 17.
Do we have enough money in Fund 17?
The result is in terms of the pavement type repairs that we need to do. And so, as I mentioned, we are having some general fund contribution to help with some of that, just so that we can continue to try to maintain our pavement condition index as best as possible.
I'm familiar with SB1, and as far as I know, Daly City has done an outstanding job based upon your recommendations in the area of slurry seal and pavement improvements. However, the situation still exists that I would hope that the NPDES regulatory fee, the amount we bring in of $466,646, will probably change based upon the estimates I see here of $527,180. So my colleagues are somewhat alluding to it that since we haven't done anything in the 28 years, maybe we should consider, but also the information you provided, like another city, they were recently approved, but the impetus was based upon a situation that they had going down there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking here, and it says Vista Grande Canal material testing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we're also working to try to alleviate some of the issues or mitigate, and to the city manager, we'll be talking to you in regards to EWS, early warning system, and with Joshua, but not to go off on a tangent, I think after 28 years, we should at least consider something, whether it's going with the law of diminishing returns. Is it worth it to go for the extra money or continue to fund, which was the question that I've heard from my colleagues. If it's going to cost us $300,000 to get a ballot measure to put up, but we're only putting out $60,000 and cost the return on investment, it'll take us 5 years for the $300,000. So it's we depend on you and your expertise and your knowledge and staff. Ms. Colliers, thank you for the report. I think that's something we should look at, so I'm hoping that later on in the future, we might find a mechanism to either VIA through grants, or maybe we should move forward for a ballot and vote towards the voters. So just my comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for those comments. Any other comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, may we open public hearing, please? May I have a motion to open?
So moved.
Okay, for first, I'll second that. Let's open public comment. Are there any comments in the audience? Seeing none, thank you very much. Motion to close?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to the adopting the resolution. At this time, I move to adopt item number 22. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second from Vice Mayor. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Giovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Perano,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your work. Now moving on to our appointments, our board, commission, membership, and commitment appointments. Are there any board appointments at this time from my colleagues? Seeing none. Now moving on to our council committee reports. Council committee reports. I think we have the solid waste committee with Vice Mayor that we had just previously. What day was that?
The
Vice Mayor?
18th.
The 18th. Do you want to report on it?
I think one thing that we'll be discussing is a possible rate increase to talk about for solid waste. I think we mentioned it earlier how we have a program in place to kind of soften the blow with these rates, and so just to keep our my colleagues in the know, we're trying to find the best way possible to phase in a new rate for the next couple of years, I believe, or 3 years, I think. And like the rates, it depends on the CPI according to the franchise agreement and trying to locking in a rate. And so for the next steps, we're just trying to find a way to maybe set a time and place in our future city council meeting. Anything else?
Yeah, thank you so much, Vice Mayor, for that synopsis. I think early on when we first met, the increase was at higher percentage. What we did discuss together was to lower that percentage, knowing the fact that such an increase over a short amount of time might be impactful to some of the consumers. And so we were able to have it lowered. Instead of 18, I believe it moved to 15%. And then from there, today we just approved really a utility program. I think some of the concerns are really around those that are most in need. And so given the fact that we do have a program, a utility program, hopefully this will not be so burdensome for those that are most impacted by this increase. But as Vice Mayor mentioned, this is something that we need to do because it's codified in our contract. And so we did try our best to find, bless you, a place where, we worked through it. So that's all I'm going to say. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm glad to work on the committee with you.
If I may make a comment?
Councilmember Sylvester.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. For your committee, something just ran through my head. It's been my experience, if you commit a violation of the law, especially driving, that money you pay for the violation, the citation that you receive, goes to the state of California, and what they do in turn is utilize that for additional programs, they utilize that for training, and they utilize it for other in the area of law enforcement. I'm thinking, since Daly City has something called the CLEAN program, is there some way possible, and this is just for the committee to think about, if those who are fined for dumping waste in our city, those who are fined, is there some way to put that money aside to help offset some of the increases? So it's just a thought for the committee. It's very impressive. As soon as I heard 18% and got it down to 15%, wow, that's still quite a bit, but job well done thus far. I'm just looking for additional mechanisms to help offset for some of those who may not be able to afford it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Sylvester, for that suggestion. I'm sure when we meet again with Vice Mayor, we're happy to discuss any ways to support our community in that regard and ask our city staff, Tom Piccoletti, to see whether or not there are some programs out there that have already been instituted. Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other city council, not city council, council committee reports from my colleagues? Vice Mayor.
So I attended the Association of Bay Area Government on Friday, June 6th. My bad, June 21st. And it was my first time attending. I went with my son as my quote unquote intern. Over 109 jurisdictions attended. I think one thing that was discussed was giving a lot of the jurisdictions, like what are some of the issues that are out there. So before they open it up to the whole ABAG meeting, they talked about like what are some pressing issues concerning things like the resilience and issues with RENA numbers. And it seems pretty consistent amongst a lot of Bay Area municipalities that there needs to be some sort of more localized and input in terms of like RENA numbers, because sometimes they'll just come up with these numbers and they don't know our city. I think one thing that came up that I found interesting was people in the East Bay, specifically in the city of Sassoon. And if people don't have this on their radar, but there's this conflict between local and state fight against the California Forever proposal. And so what the California Forever proposal is a group of Silicon Valley billionaires under the name of California Forever has proposed a new city in eastern Solano County. This project would be located between Fairfield and Rio Vista, spanning approximately 18,000 acres. I had a colleague out in Sassoon that talked about how they've canvassed and also talked and surveyed many residents in that area, and over 70% are against this project. And, just to, put it out there in terms of these billionaires that are from Silicon Valley, they're thinking about if they don't get like the popular vote amongst its locals, they're just going to try to see if they can bring it up to the state level and have the state vote on if they should have. So this is the conflict between like local and state power issues. They also talked about an ABAG fiscal report. ABAG has a structural deficit. So they're trying to find some different ways of financing ABAG. Most of the budget comes from membership dues, and they all realize that it's not a sustainable business model to finance ABAG. So they're coming up with different solutions. So the next ABAG meeting, they'll have something hopefully in place. I also got to listen to our keynote speaker, Dr. Shalini Vajala, and she is a prominent expert in infrastructure and climate resilience. She is also the executive director of Pre-Collective, an organization focused on developing innovative solutions for climate and infrastructure challenges. Dr. Vajala is also the founder and CEO of Refocus Partners, a design and finance firm that creates resilient solutions and fosters public and private partnerships. So she talked about her vision, also vision and also, I guess, methods and approaches of how her consulting firm has been used throughout the nation in terms of public and private partnerships. So she talked about sometimes people have great vision, building blocks for pre-development, but there's no money, so you end up with pretty drawings, and there's nothing that happens. Sometimes you have capacity and funding, but there's no vision for transformation because business as usual. So there's like different ways of talking about what are ways that we can come together. And I guess one thing that I took away from her talk was she talked about finding champions at the seams of sectors. So finding people who are doing the work, but also leading with a perspective of equity. Because usually there are people that are community-based organizations or partners that are in the city that are already doing the work, and we don't have to reduplicate the work, but how we bring those people in to help us do the work. She talked about collaboration, also making innovation more accessible. She talked about turning, we have business improvement districts. She was also talking about maybe we could start talking about electric improvement districts, like a bid map. So, so finding ways to go towards a more green, more sustainable, environmental future than what we have now. So I got a lot, and there was other panels as well, but I didn't get a chance to see them because I had a 10-year-old that was like, let's go. But I think it was a really good meeting to meet everybody. It felt like a mini League of Cities where I got to meet a lot of the mayors and vice mayors from all over the Bay Area.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, Vice Mayor, for stepping in and becoming our delegate for this meeting. I appreciate you.
Of course.
I wasn't able to join because I was at a national conference, but you stepped in even with your little assistant.
Thank you, Leilani.
Thank you, Leilani, for coordinating that. I think it's so important when you look at regional matters, especially around ABAG, with our climate change, transportation, housing, that really looking at a regional approach and working with other jurisdictions is so important. And so I want to acknowledge you for the being there, being able to join the business meeting, and also hear from speakers that hopefully we can find some of those points and integrate it with what we have here in Daly City, or even look at potential partnerships. So I appreciate that. Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your reports. I just recently, coming back from the bronchial pneumonia, I did was able to attend my commute.org, and we had a large presentation on the electrification of Caltrain, and not just because it's going to be a lot quieter, to let people know that it'll be running every 20 to 30 minutes on time. It'll be a lot more efficient. And they actually are figuring out a way to make sure that the youth are still able to access Caltrain. There's been a big uptake on their interest. And also, commute.org has been instrumental in the workforce housing at our JUHSD, working with the residents there, of our teachers and staff, and giving them a program where they could also have a shuttle from that area to take them to their job sites, or they can use e-bikes. So that program is getting ready to end shortly, but there was a big interest from the teachers and staff at JUHSD, and the partnership has been fantastic to make sure that the transportation and the safety for them, they had training, and they're still going to choose partly a shuttle, which I do get that as well for days that they'll need it up at our Ceremony Del Rey area. So electrification and the presentation should be done, I think, by September the 21st, but I'll let everybody know when it'll be ready to go and ready to roll out. It seems like they're moving pretty quickly, and the expansion for the electrification of Caltrain is pretty amazing. So they've done a fantastic job, and Bill will be reporting on in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Tijani. Can you state what date it was that you went to commute.org?
I believe that the electrification,
No, the date you went to the meeting so that.
when I got,
No, when the date that you attended the meeting so that our city clerk.
it's
can note
fine,
that.
it's fine. It was, I was just trying to get better. It was 8 o'clock in the mornings, just so people know the details on Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, if people want to know, I'm transparent about people know I had been sick, but I pushed to get there because they didn't have a quorum at the time with Mr. Ford. And and as a matter of fact, if you want to know where it was held at the Belmont City Hall. And I had someone drive me. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was for June 13th?
Whatever the Thursday was.
Last week, June 13th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Thank you very much. So
Yeah.
June 13. Also for me
Thank you.
on June 13, thank you very much. On June 13, I attended the CCAG meeting via Zoom. I wanted to let you know that we were able to, in conjunction with that, able to approve something that is really amazing because it actually sit on the BOSCA board, but also, with CCAG. And so there was approval of the BOSCA funding agreement around the Bay Area Water Supply and Conservation Agency rain barrel rebate program. So that's something that is a program for all jurisdictions to be able to get rain barrels. So for instance, when it's raining, you save all that water there and then you're able to reuse that water in watering your plants. So it was alluded to earlier that Daly City definitely conserves water, and we actually are doing really great in that respect. I also wanted to talk about that we also approved the 2023-2025 work plan for 21 elements. And Rich really, 21 elements focuses on the past 2 years on housing element support and really supporting jurisdictions in that regard. And I know that there has been some of our staff that have been working also with 21 elements, and there's also been some programs in regards to this, and also some seminars that we have been working on. Also, we also approved the fiscal year 2024-2025 funding agreement with CGAG and also with the Bay Area Quality Management District. So there was a lot of support in looking at these agreements. Also, let me read this. Also, looked at the Redwood City draft zoning code maintenance with housing element implementation. And so for those of you watching, this is really a regional approach to making sure that our transit, our housing, all of these arenas, we're able to create holistic approaches that are cross-jurisdictional. And also very recently in May, when it was Bicycle Awareness Month, the very first e-bicycle in San Mateo County was actually at Daly City BART. I think I mentioned previously, that's the first one in San Mateo County. But because of that, I would say pilot program, CCAG is also looking at other ways to expand, to have more sites so that the bicycle program doesn't only go from Daly City BART to San Francisco State, which also helps our young students that live in Daly City and bike over to San Francisco State University. But hopefully looking at areas that have many residents. I think in some of their, hopefully in the future, look at Westlake area, given the amount of density that is right there in that community around the expansion of e-bikes in that area. And then also, we also looked at the San Mateo County safe system approach. With this plan, the principles of safe system approach, which are to eliminate fatal and severe injuries for all road users. The safe system approach works taking a holistic approach to roadway safety by layering safe policy, design, and behavior initiatives atop one another and maximally reduces the chance that a crash will occur. And if it does, that outcome will, if it does, hopefully that outcome won't be that severe. So it's really looking at CCAG and its 21 local jurisdictions and partnering areas and agencies to identify safety improvements, strategies, and programs using the safe system approach to eliminate fatalities and severe injuries on local roads. 2, enhance the existing roadway network in a cost-effective manner that promotes traffic safety and social equity and meets the needs of our community and enriches the lives of our residents. And 3, promotes a culture across agencies and communities that puts roadway safety first in all its actions. So with that plan, definitely included in that is public engagement, community engagement, hearing from all the jurisdictions and looking at the high injury networks around San Mateo County, and then looking at project prioritization and making sure that that's implemented. And so that is the CCAG report for June 13th. Thank you. Now, moving into our next item.
Excuse me,
Oh.
Madam Mayor, I have a report I'd like to make.
Go ahead, Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. This is actually a good thing. I just want to congratulate our city manager, Tom Piccolotti, for being accepted and voted on the board of the San Mateo County Hospital, pre-hospital JPA, advanced life support amongst the group, and just like to welcome our city manager. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Good to have you.
Through the chair. Thank you, and thank you for your vote. The vice chair is Councilmember Sylvester, and I was thankful that I got his vote. I'm on the management committee replacing a retiring city manager, so appreciate it, sir.
Wonderful, congratulations. You both get to work with each other even more. Thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. Now moving on, are there any other city council reports? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move on to, not council, city council reports. And so I wanted to share with everyone that I was able to attend the Jefferson Adult School graduation. It was always such a wonderful event. A lot of students that are English learners as well as GED graduates, and just a great time to be in celebration with community there. And then also joined the San Mateo County API Caucus Heroes event. I know that Councilmember Sylvester was there in attendance. Both him and I sit on the API Caucus board, but really was an opportunity to be able to really highlight those in the community that have given so much. And one of the recipients was the Chinese Hospital executive director, and in which the Chinese Hospital's 125th anniversary. They do have a medical center right on Gellert, if you know, right next to the In-N-Out there. And then also, I wanted to share with everyone that Such a wonderful, I would say, program called the Leadership Corps of San Mateo County. I was able to join the cohort this year for their corps, but I know that many of our staff have also joined the Emerging Leaders cohort, and it was just really a wonderful way to network across sectors, because in that training you're actually with nonprofit organizations, you're with I would say different companies, folks in the public sector, and really an opportunity to look at ways to improve San Mateo County. You talked about housing, transportation, childcare, but really building a network across the county so that there's opportunities to collaborate. And yeah, I'm proud to say that I graduated from there along with the others that were able to participate in that program. And then TRP was here at City Hall, which was really wonderful, with Magical Bridge and Stanford and the Office of Education in regards to safe routes to school, because of the project that I'm so excited about regarding the Magical Bridge Park that we will have right by Hillside Park. It was really, really inspiring to see the young people from TRP talk about what they want to see, doing their own research. As you know, Vice Mayor, as you teach young people how to do their own research, it was pretty amazing for them to present here and also share their ideas, where Magical Bridge was present to hear from them and what they want to see. I know Director Chu was here in regards to them even talking about how easy is it to even get from Policita to the park in the future. So you talk about a very dynamic youth that we have. They're looking at all ways to get safe to the park, looking at elements other parks have in other parts of the peninsula. But I think it's just wonderful that we have them involved. So thank you, TRP students. That was really amazing. They were able to do it right before they graduated. So that was such a delight to have him right here in the City Hall chambers. Also wanted to say thank you to all of those that have been present with the Progress Pride flag raising. I really wanted to acknowledge that, it's been something so important, but seeing all of the staff present was really heartwarming, to support and show that Daly City is truly a city of diversity, that cares about others, and that here in Daly City, we accept everyone. And it was just such a beautiful sight. And I really want to thank each and every one of you that joined us for the Progress flag raising. Also was able to join and visit the senior ball through, it was really wonderful. I think it was a lot of our older adult seniors from all over the city. They had a senior ball, and the theme was like a luau. They were dressed in, Hawaiian attire, but you can tell that it's something that they would like to see more of. And it's really wonderful that our Measure Q funds, like we talked about earlier, we're able to do more of these programmings, these dances. And I want to acknowledge the staff, the recreation staff, for a job well done in putting the senior ball together at War Memorial. Also was able to join San Mateo Pride. It was the first time that we joined. It was started last year, but we had our Children's Day, but this time got to join both. But I want to say thank you so much to the residents, Victoria Magbilang, to our also Selena Torona from our library, Planning Commissioner Chair Cheryl Qatar, also Personnel Board Commissioner Tony Bayudin, and really the organizing efforts of Kalima Salahuddin, who coordinated the parade. Also, Supervisor Catherine Stephanie joined me at my car at the Pride San Mateo. It was so wonderful to see Congressman Mullen, also Assemblymember Papin, the Filipino Mental Health Initiative, the County LGBTQ plus of San Mateo County, and many, many more. Also, want to acknowledge that one of the residents invited me to the Muay Thai technical competition in Oakland to see the work there. But one of the initiatives he asked was to see if the Daly City Police Department would join and have a table for recruitment. I thought that was really great. He mentioned that usually the Sheriff's Department joins and other jurisdictions, but I want to say thank you to our city manager, Tom Piccolotti, and our acting chief, Christensen, who was able to have someone come over and have a recruitment table at that event. And I know we're looking to recruit and hire, and so I just want to acknowledge our Daly City Police Department for being out there and in recruitment mode. And then also joined the second annual Children's Day celebration with Councilmember Proaño. I know that it was a really well attended, and I know it was under your leadership, Vice Mayor, where it started. It's just really amazing to see the youth and young people lead with so much enthusiasm. And when you talk about youth-led programs, that program is youth-led every single year with the support of our recreation staff. And it's just wonderful because you know how much passion all of these youth and young people have when you have the daily city weather happening and they are still out there performing and really it's just so much passion. Truly proud of our youth and young people leading second annual Children's Day. Also, I want to say thank you to our Daly City Police Department for putting on the bike rodeo. It was pretty amazing to see the little children from 5 years to and older riding their bikes. I mean, it was really amazing. They had some organizations provide free helmet fitting, and it was really a joy to see in partnership with Ceremony to see that really around bike safety and also encouraging bike education. And so also for all of you that joined us for our Philippine flag raising, this was its 10th anniversary. It was instituted through Supervisor Canapa, who was on the council at that time, and Tita Perla Arborientos. And so it was a decade-long celebration, but it was a full house. So thank you to everyone that participated. It was just really a wonderful event. And thank you again to the Filipino Bayanihan Resource Center, PBRC, who has day in and day out really sponsored the luncheon. We had our Philippine Consul General, Neil Ferrer, along with Senator Scott Wiener, who joined us, and representatives from Assemblymember Phil Ting's office. We had our guest supervisor, Catherine Stephanie, and really in representation of Supervisor David Canapa, Piero, his son, and his little barong. It was definitely a sight to see. We also had Vice Mayor bring his son Razon. So it was really intergenerational as well. So thank you so much to everyone. It was a full house. Over 100 people came, so thank you. And also, I just wanted to say, hope all the fathers, the dads had a wonderful Father's Day. Also, to the father figures who step into the role as dad and father, I hope you had a wonderful celebration with friends and family. I also joined the inaugural AAPI Lead. It's a national organization with Asian American National Hawaiian NAPHI leaders, whether they are elected or appointed, and also in conjunction with the National Latino Elected Appointed Officials National Conference. And so I did see Supervisor Noelia Corso there, and also Vice Mayor Eddie Flores, that was also there on the Naleo side. And it was also wonderful to see Councilmember Marie Chung from Hillsborough. It was really looking at ways to continue to build and give back to our communities. And then last but not least, I just want to say happy July 4th, early July 4th, because the next time we meet, it will have already passed. And so I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful 4th and day off with your friends and family. And so with that, I will now hand it over to Vice Mayor for any city council reports.
None for me.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other city council reports from my colleagues?
Oh, wait, I have one.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Speaking of July 4th, the Filipino American Democratic Club is throwing a picnic, right? Yeah, at Geller Park, July 4th from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So everybody is invited.
Thank you, Vice
Yeah,
Mayor.
yeah.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Are there any other city council reports? We're gonna make it out of here by 10 p.m. before 10 p.m. We're doing good. I think last time we hit the midnight hour, literally. And so at this point, I'm gonna hand it over to our wonderful city manager, Tom Piccolotti, for any staff reports.
Yeah, thank you. I don't have any reports, but I do have something I wanted to just shout out to the Daly City Police Department for the tribute that they gave former North Coast County Water District President Jack Burgett, former Vice Principal of Jefferson. He passed a couple months ago, but his service was held on June 13th, Thursday, and there were multiple jurisdictions that Daly City PD was able to provide an escort that were involved in it, and his family wanted me to thank PD, thank the council, thank Daly City for the tribute. So that's all.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, he was definitely an icon in our community, and I know your mentor. He was actually vice principal during the time I went to Jefferson High School, so definitely will be dearly missed. So thank you. Yeah. Okay, and so now we will move on to our adjourn in memory.
I have a couple.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to close this meeting on behalf of two legendary athletes, professional athletes. One is Jerry West. So the legendary NBA figure who passed away on June 12, 2024 at the age of 86 will be remembered as one of the greatest basketball players and executives. He was known as Mr. Clutch for his late game heroics. West's impact on the sport was immeasurable. West's journey from the small town of Cheyenne, West Virginia, to NBA stardom is a testament to his exceptional talent and dedication. He started at West Virginia University before becoming a 14-time NBA All-Star with the LA Lakers, winning a championship in 1972. His contributions extended beyond his playing career as an executive. West was instrumental in building the Showtime Lakers dynasty and later contributed to the success of NBA franchises such as the Memphis Grizzlies, Golden State Warriors, and the Los Angeles Clippers. His silhouette became the iconic NBA logo, cementing his status as a symbol of the league itself. West's impact was felt by generations of players and fans, such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, the late Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. I had the opportunity to meet him last year at the NBA Con with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and just to listen to his stories. He said he wasn't just a dog, he was a wolf because wolves eat dogs. So when he talked about his competitive nature, that's where he derives a lot of his competitive nature. The next one is one of our local heroes, Willie Mays. So the legendary baseball player known as the Say Hey Kid passed away at age 93 on June 18, 2024, just days before a planned tribute to the Negro League players at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Mays is widely regarded as one of the greatest all-around players in baseball history. His 22-season career in the National League, primarily with the Giants, was marked by extraordinary statistics: 660 home runs, 3,293 hits, and a 301 batting average. However, Mays was more than just impressive numbers. His exuberant style of play and effervescent personality made him a beloved figure both in and beyond the world of baseball. Mays began his professional career with the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues in 1948 at just 17 years old. He went on to become a transformative figure in Major League Baseball, bringing the flair and showmanship of the Negro Leagues to the majors and changing the game in the process. His impact extended far beyond baseball. Mays was a cultural icon, appearing in comic strips, songs, and films. His style of play brought joy to fans and inspired generations of players. As Joe Goodman wrote, Mays played the game with pure joy, and that was the greatest gift of all. Mays' passing marks the end of an era in baseball. His legacy as a player, culture figure, and ambassador for the game will continue to inspire and delight fans for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Are there any other adjournment memories?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to adjourn in memory of Mr. Victor Radzinski. He was born in 1930, and subsequently the passing age is at 94 years of age. He's a Daly City resident and actually lived on Hillside Boulevard for 60-plus years. He was a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather. Victor Radzinski. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. We'd also like to adjourn in memory of Honorato June Santamaria. Honorato, fondly known as June Santamaria, was born and grew up in Cavite City, the Philippines. June had a brother named Rodolfo who had passed away about 6 years ago. He crossed paths with his future wife, Gloria, when she was employed at the Philippine Savings Bank in Quiapo, where they happened to make a deposit. They married in 1968. Their daughter, Brenda, was born in 1969. Gloria obtained a work visa and moved to the United States in 1969. He was proud of buying a house and paying off a mortgage relatively soon. He worked as a clerk at the Pacific Bell Telephone Company for about 40 years. His later work years saw him exploring the world with his family through the discounted travel benefits earned during a tenure at United Airlines, where he worked for several years. He then retired. Their son, Mark, born in 1982 in San Francisco, found his own happiness in marriage to Duong Wen in 2016. Together, they welcomed June's cherished grandson, Chris, in 2021. June, whom Chris called Lolo, loved playing with his grandson. June was a hardworking and disciplined man who demonstrated his love through action rather than words. He rose daily at 4:30 a.m. to tend to the household chores. His unwavering commitment to his family was evident as he chauffeured them around town, prioritizing their needs above all else. In his leisure time, he found solace in watching The Price is Right game show and staying informed through the news. Even in his final year, June tirelessly sent padala gifts to his relatives in the Philippines. He also took joy in dropping off his grandson at preschool, showcasing his devotion to his family until the very end. He took comfort in the flavors of Philippine cuisine, with his final indulgence being mamon, a sponge cake. His faith in God was unwavering, evident through his frequent prayers, an expression of gratitude to those around him, even in his final moments. Also adjourn in memory to my sorority sister, Karina Mae Owens. Karina Mae Owens was a devoted wife, mother, and beloved daughter, sister, cousin, auntie, niece, and friend. She touched so many lives as she dedicated herself as a mentor and social justice advocate who worked on behalf of youth, seniors, and veterans, and was very involved in the community organizations that were dear to her heart. Karina will always be remembered for her loving and caring nature, her unwavering devotion to friends and family, her vibrant spirit, infectious humor, the way she lit up a room and lifted those around her. Karina was fiercely independent, and at the same time, she gave herself completely to those she loved. She was truly a special person, and she will dearly be missed. In the summer of 2023, at the age of 36, Karina was diagnosed with a rare and incurable form of cancer called adenoid cystic carcinoma. It was already at stage 4. She fought a hard battle undergoing radiation chemotherapy and fighting the complications that put her in and out of the hospital of several months. In the early morning of May 31, 2024, Karina passed away peacefully at the Stanford Hospital with close family by her side. Karina is survived by her husband, Michael, and their 3-year-old son, Owen, her parents, Rose and Eric Victor, and Cesar Orozco, and her siblings, Rod and Brandon. And also in memory of Elisa Jade Cabrera, who is Tita Pearl, really an advocate in the Filipino food scene, and her daughter, Elisa Jade Cabrera. Elisa was a beacon of light and creativity. As an artist, she found joy in painting and embroidery. Her love for dogs was only matched by her passion for singing, gracing us with her angelic voice. Despite her illness, Elisa faced each day with bravery and unwavering spirit, never letting her condition dim her zest for life. And also, in deep condolences to the mother of City Clerk Annette Hapona, Edith Stieg, and also to the father of Deputy Fire Chief Joel Abelson, Howard P. Abelson. May we all have a moment of silence for each and every one of them.